Hello.
We're back again with Soulfire Ascension with Raven and Jessamy. I am Raven,
I'm Jessamy.
and we are here with Deborah Williams, and she wrote this beautiful book, Voluvia Sister. She wrote
Voluvia, thank you.
A Perfectly Imperfect Life. And we're here to talk to Deborah, but let's go ahead and play the little reel for Deborah. She's much, much more than this, but there we go. Ascension, black magic, entity removal, hypnosis therapy, magical creatures, past life regression, raising your vibration, self-healing, UFO abduction, white magic, soul fire ascension welcomes Deborah Williams, author of A Perfectly Imperfect Life. Live Friday, April 5th, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Like, share, and subscribe. Welcome, welcome. So you're way much more than just an author. You're an aura practitioner, as I know. And do you also do the raw Reiki?
Yes, I do.
And what else do you do with
Well,
all that?
first, I want to thank you for inviting me to be here. It's such an honor to be with you and to meet your audience. And
Thank you.
I can't wait to have some questions and see where we go with this and how it happens. But so I'm a mom. I have 6 kids.
Wow.
14 grandchildren.
My goodness.
Yes. So I'm busy with my family is the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I came across Rising Phoenix Aurora, a few years back, and took all of her classes. So I'm certified in all of her classes. I also, meaning the aura hypnosis, the Isis priestess, the Akashic reading. So the aura comes with the raw Reiki, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I also studied quite a bit through Drunvalo Melchizedek and what he's taught with the flower of life and those things. But a few years back, earlier than that. But for the most part, I didn't really get into this spiritual side, this part of the world, this more open-minded place in the world, till more recent years. I didn't even know what a chakra was a few years back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's been quite a eye-opening, heart-opening, but experience that totally resonates with me and my path, my journey.
Well, that's so beautiful. I have to admit, I have not read the book, but I just got it today. And I did start reading it. And one of the things that impressed me was right at the beginning when you talk about the lotus effect. Can you tell us about the lotus effect?
So my career was at the university, and I worked with professors. I assisted a mechanical engineering professor whose wife was in biology. So they merged their two loves, mechanical engineering and biology, and took all these trips. But he would have things come across my desk for me to organize and copy for him. And this paper came across, the lotus effect. And I just I love this, reading it, and I'm dissecting it, and I held on to it for years and years. But what it is an institution that studied why does the fragile lotus flower, why does it repel anything that gets on it? It grows in this muddy, swampy area, and it's pristine. It's beautiful. How is that, scientifically speaking? And so they did, technology came along and they took all these miniature, these cameras going down to the micro level and the nano level to see why is it that these flowers can be so unblemished in everything that happens to them. Throw soap on them, throw oil on them, and it just slides right off. They're still pristine. And that study really resonated. I just wanted to learn more about that. And I've read all the, went into the photos of the flowers. And it became part of me wanting to know, why is this lotus flower connected to spirituality? Of course, because it's in the muck, but it still comes out pristine and light and beautiful. And so that was where I decided to start with this journey on this book, because we're in this 3D life, we're thrown into the muck. How do we get out of it? How do we get through it? Scientifically, the lotus flower has all these little tiny nodules, just really micros at the micro level, tiny, 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 all next to each other. And so the oil molecules is bigger. It can't get through. So it's the mass of all these little things together. Nothing can get through. So that's how it works. And that's how I'm finding, as I go through this life's adventure, all these little things that make up who we are help us stand taller. And my book is Perfectly Imperfect, because I'm so dang imperfect. I made so many mistakes that I don't think I would want to be perfect. I wouldn't want, we couldn't stay here if we were perfect. We came here for this experience, and experience exactly where we designed our things that happen to us in this world, in this life. But it takes a while to figure that out. You don't come in knowing that. And you come in here with all this trauma and ow and wah. I'm this poor victim, and this happened, until you realize, wow, thank you for that lesson. Wow, I learned so much, I grew so much, and I became better. And anyway, there's the lotus effect. It's putting all those things together, of all of these imperfections that make us pristine and ascend out of it.
I love
that. Yeah, those imperfections make, I always say, perfectly whole and wholly divine. But WHOLLY. So I love that, like imperfectly perfect, perfectly whole, wholly divine. That goes perfectly. Look at that. You're inspired. Now I'm gonna have to write stuff down. You've got my brain going and rolling. So yeah, I love it. That is great. That is wonderful.
And Sam Blue says, don't we all love my perfect imperfections?
Absolutely, because who would we be without that little,
Absolutely. Absolutely. It's neat. Just that little blip there kind of reminded me, the Chinese, when something breaks, they don't throw things away. Like if a dish or ceramic doesn't break, or when they break, they don't throw it away. They repair it with gold, and to them it becomes more precious, and it's more beautiful because of that. And then also there are many cultures around the world, and I started doing this too, but imperfect pearls, the ones that are all misshapen and weird looking, I collect them. My son and I both do. We go nuts over them. But in a lot of places in the world, they are worth so much that their use is money, because the imperfect ones, that none of them are the same, and so they're sought after. But they're not good enough to be able to go into jewelry stores. Well, we don't want those. We want the neat ones with stories and tales.
Yeah, it's actually a Native American practice. When they're making beadwork, they're going to put some imperfection in there to show that this wasn't made somewhere in some factory. This was a handmade item, and that imperfection was purposely put there, part of their story.
Right. And
I think doing my glass work unintentionally.
And I think too that's a good practice, because it shows that we are also human, and that perfection can only be done by source or creator. So that's a good way to put like humanity in that piece that you're working on too.
Exactly. If we were perfect, we wouldn't be able to stay in this physical vessel, right?
No, we wouldn't.
That's yeah.
We
That's
would have
our
been
purpose. Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's part of our mission.
Yeah. So I see that your book has several different things in it. What prompted you to write this book?
Oh, I never ever in the world thought I was going to write a book, first place. But so my story. So I was decades very, very deep into religion. I mean, I was all the way into religion, and that's all I saw. I lived, breathed, and drank religion. I raised my children in religion. I mean, for 30 years straight. Totally all the way. I'm all the way in there. But there was a few things that started not resonating, such as a jealous God. Because I love my kids unconditionally, whatever they do. They can't do anything bad enough for I'm not going to be their mom or be there for them, right?
Right.
And there's a few things, and I have a chapter. Chapter 1 is kind of my life story, introduces myself so that I kind of introduce you that I'm just a regular person. I feel like I'm a regular person, but I'm actually in my 60s. I'm 66 this year, actually. So I've had a few experiences along the way, and I've also been experienced in different cultures. You know, different cultures have come through my path in marriage, and my parents were different from different cultures, and it goes back and back. But so my grandma, my mom's mom, had me keep a journal since I was a little girl.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was reading personal histories from generations before that. So I'm always journaling. And then I have these questions, and second chapter is how I came into religion and how I left religion. So it's a little bit convoluted, I would say, but I got out of it, right? Mm-hmm. I actually got so mad that I didn't want anything to do with God, any of it. I didn't want anything to do with Jesus. I didn't want anything to do with any of it. I was done. I was so done with all of it, and I just turned my back on all of it and figured, okay, that's it. I'm a goner, right? With what I had been programmed to believe and know, and then it's slowly turning out. You know, you see people's health just fall to pieces for nothing, or I see a daughter who behaves erratic. She's this beautiful soul, and then one day she turns into this monster, and I'm like, that's not her. And I think, oh, I have times where I felt like I was out of control too. That wasn't me behaving like that. And I had the hardest time getting back to me. So that questions, what's going on here? What's going on here? And that's when I started getting into Drunvalo's Melchizedek and his learning the flower of life and learning how to build my Merkaba and learning more about the chakras. So I learned more about those things. And he's just so full of love. He's really full of love. And then that brings me to, there's a professor at the university was this brilliant professor doing 100 miles an hour. Then one day he starts breaking his body starts breaking down, and the doctors can't figure it out. I think there's entities. We've got entities in us controlling us. So I'm having these questions and things. And then I have a daughter, my fourth born. She had breast cancer, and then she was terminal. And it was more than her husband and her. She had 2 teenage kids. It was more than they can handle. I says, okay, I'm moving in with you. I'm going to help out. So I moved in to help her help her go through her last days, and those last days turned into 13 months. So it was a lot to process. But in that time when I was there with her and having these questions, I'm have time on my hands because she's sleeping a lot. I have time on my hands, and now I'm watching Laura Eisenhower and all of that. And I had done the Ancient Aliens and those things. They started resonating with me. Different things popped up. More questions. And then Aurora's Rising Phoenix Aurora's interview with Laura Eisenhower, Red versus Blue, she's talking about these Archons, these entities. And I'm like, oh, I had to know more. I had to know more. And then her book came out. I read the whole thing cover to cover in 9 days. I was so into it. Everything was fascinating. Okay, I'm signing up for the Isis Priestess. And then within a few months, she announced she was having an in-person retreat to get certified. And I think, I don't know if I can heal anybody or do that, but I need to learn for myself. I need to learn for my family. I need to figure this stuff out. So that's how I got into being certified, and how I started seeing that it's about self-love and about love, love, love. It's all about love. And it's about, and I did not believe in reincarnation. Up until Aurora, no way. This is my one and only life, right? This is it, done deal. And then I'm starting to find out, no, there's a lot more going on to this. And then I was discovered how, and the pieces of my life and nightmares from a child and different things of being UFO abducted and things. And then different things. It just, each session, going into each chapter in my book is one of these private hypnosis sessions. And then at the end of each chapter, I actually have a diagram of all the entities that was inside me. Here I'm thinking I'm going to heal this daughter and that. And I'm going, oh my word, I have all this inside me. All of this happened. And now the more I've gotten into it, and the conversations I've had with our Archangels and Source and my higher self, and learning my past lives, I was, I was
angel bumps.
I've got tears because I just had a lot of these realizations yesterday, believe it or not. So yeah.
But it just all starts. And I have ADHD and I was dyslexic, and I've got all this stuff. So, and something comes in and it's gone.
Yes. Yes.
So I'm transcribing all of my sessions. I transcribed, and then not only do I transcribe, but I create these diagrams so I can see the whole session in one picture too. Mm-hmm. What entities were there. That's how I think, and I can go back and remember it. Then I can go back and reread it over and over and get it, because that's how I am. I have to really study something to get there. Mm-hmm. And so
and I was surprised in my aura sessions, the entities that I had as well. Mm-hmm. And once that I had gotten through, those and gotten rid of those or whatever, I started having memories. Oh, that's why I did this, and that's why I did that. Yeah. And it's unbelievable. And I know that people think, oh, you're a little crazy. You think you got entities. But honestly, if you would if you could understand that there are children who are shooting other children, and that may not even be that child doing that. Exactly. It might be an entity controlling that child.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And healing yourself first with the unconditional love is so important. And that is a concept that I've always had a hard time with. Just love in general. It was always difficult. I was not always shown love, so I didn't know love. And then I've been listening to like the Gaia podcast for over a month now. Raven got me started. The whole thing started with an entity attacked me through somebody in November. Raven got me started on a new journey with, and I haven't started the Aura Practitioner yet. I'm working on that. But she got me with, it was Dolores Keaton's books.
Yes.
Starting with Jesus and the Essenes. I'm not quite Christian. I'm more, I'm definitely trying to follow the Essenic way of life.
Exactly.
Because when I was listening to that, I was like, I know these people. I know these people. So it just sat with me. But I've been working all these months about trying to let go and learning what unconditional love was, and listening to how the Essenes talked about unconditional love. And then something last night clicked. I was in the shower and I'm meditating, and I'm, washing all the emotions and stuff. And I'm like, I love you. And then I'm like, who am I even saying this to? And I just kept thinking, I love you. I love you. And then all of a sudden I split into 9 different women. And like, some were old. There was one little girl. Her name was Rachel. Apparently that was me back in pioneer days. She was killed. But it was 9 of my past lives that would not let go because I had trauma with them. And I mean, I've lived so many different past lives, but there were these 9 certain ones. And I went through and I had to, I told them that I didn't need to know what it was because it was already done with us. So subconscious already knows, but I love you anyway. And I heal us. I heal you. I heal myself. And, after that, and it took a while, but after that, like I felt something clicked, something shifted. And then I almost got sick. I had like a headache and I got nauseous, and I'm like, all right, I just need to go to bed. This morning I woke up and I'm completely different. Like there's something about that when I finally just told myself, I love you, all of you, all the imperfections, all the hurts and the ouches, and all the wonderful good things. And I've been, that's it's just so neat that you said it like that, because that's exactly what I've been going through. So it's nice to kind of be validated by like sister souls here. That's why we have this podcast here.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
It excites me when I hear people say that.
Yeah.
And, loving yourself there's nothing wrong with that. We need to learn how to do that because we've been programmed that that's a selfish thing.
Yeah, exactly.
We should not do that. And I'm pretty sure in your book that probably brings that up too as well.
Oh, yeah. But so I want to share that when you first get into learning the chakras and the gashu and your mantras and stuff, just me going into the mantra like this was sharp pains. That caused me sharp pain.
So
it was in a aura session that I had wires, etheric wires in my arms that was pulling that and causing that sharp pain. And once that was healed, now I'm okay. It's just crazy that all of my life I couldn't do that. Now all of a sudden, it's things that you'll never know until you go in and talk to your higher self and see what's up with this. We've been programmed. That's normal. This is normal.
Right. Did you ever notice, I don't know if it's an everybody thing, but like when things started kind of unlocking with the higher self and source, did you notice that you started moving your hands more? I see a lot of other spiritual people do that, but like now, like if I sit there and I'm kind of like going into prayer, my hands move almost like that, how the yogis would bring their hands together. Yeah. And how you do that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's like an energy movement, but I noticed that I started doing that too.
That's beautiful. You're just a natural. I had to learn. I had to be taught how to make the energy balls and stuff. So you're beautiful. You're just naturally beautiful like that. So
thank you. I started doing it. I'm like, what am I even doing? I don't know. Like at first I'm like, am I ticking? Like what, like an ADHD thing? And then one of my friends is like, I think it's like a spiritual thing, but I'm like, that's not my typical spiritual thing. And he's like, you need to look into that. So that's why I was wondering, you did that. And I'm like, I wonder. So,
yeah. It's very strong energy there. Very strong. And it's from your heart.
I'm always moving my hands and
Well, Yeshua said, that we have those chakras in our hands.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And that's what he used to heal with, and that comes directly from our heart.
Yep.
Yeah. And that's how we do our Reiki energy work, right?
Mm-hmm.
And our raw Reiki energy work.
Yes.
So it's that loving energy coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And do it for your food. Love your food.
Mm-hmm.
Love everything about you. Do it to yourself, you know.
Yeah.
Feel
Absolutely.
that beautiful.
Yeah. I love that. So what is your favorite method of the Reiki healing? Like what is there are so many different modalities that you can use, but like what is your favorite form, like your go-to that you like to use?
So for me and for this modality that we use, it's about keeping ourselves clean. We go out and charge ourselves in the sun and connecting to our higher self. We go out and we do all the symbols on ourselves and our shields, protecting ourselves from anything and everything. And then in that space where we're just nothing but unconditional love, that's when we can connect to our client's higher self and ask to be a bridge. We're not going to go in there and cross any boundaries that the higher self doesn't allow. We're going to go in there and be a spokesperson or bridge between the client and their higher self. We're listening and we're feeling and we're using our gifts and knowing and our symbols to go through and just cleanse and then possibly be able to share with our client what's going on. And but it's mostly about the client learning themselves to heal themselves and to go within their hearts themselves and become that sovereign being that we're all supposed to be. It's about each of us figuring this out. And a practitioner in this modality, the practitioner is a bridge to help you find your sovereignty and to help you possibly clear out some of these entities and teach you possibly to shield from other entities coming in, right? So it's that whatever, but it's up to to do the homework, up to the client to want this and be ready for it and to go after it. It's not like you go in and to a doctor, take a pill and you're all better, right? You got your symptom relief. It's about teaching and learning how to become our own sovereign beings, how to lose some of the judgments possibly, and just become the world we're trying to create.
Yeah. And it's a lifestyle too. It's got to be a practice. Yeah.
Well, and because we're all taught that we look outside of ourselves for God, source, or whatever it is that you want to call it, but it's actually within us. We are the gods and the goddesses. And
yeah, I mean we're made of stardust. I mean, science is, medical science has even explained that and proven that. So, if we are stardust and source is stardust, then, we are a part of that. And I believe that, source is within us, but it also works through us. And that is so powerful. But when you are able to help someone find that in themselves, that is so special. And I love it when their faces light up with like, oh, that's what that is. And it's like, yes, now use it, kind of like that. Yes, use the force type of thing. That's what what comes to my head. Like, yes, use it. And that inspiration is everything. And that's what I always try to do. It's, I'm not, as strong of healers and facilitators like you ladies, but I like to inspire.
Yes, you are. You are stronger than you realize. Now,
and I like to do it, but I mean, I really love to do it, but there's something about the inspiration instead of in the Reiki itself. Like I said, I love doing it. But I also that's where my tarot cards come in. I use the tarot cards as like they're a medium for the message of from source to inspire. I'm just a facilitator. I'm just the mouth that you can hear. The voice is actually coming from source. Like, so I love that.
So how many aura sessions did it take for you to understand all that, you needed to understand to pursue this type of, the aura sessions, the raw Reiki, the Akashic readings?
So I pursued it before I had an aura session.
Oh,
I
wow.
pursued it. I pursued getting certified. Because I wanted my. Because I was oblivious. I didn't, and I fell in love with Aurora. So I wanted a session with Aurora, which took 6 months. So that 6 months meant 6 months of preparation through the Isis Priestess class, and then I'm preparing for the certification class, and that's a lot of homework beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then that got postponed another month, and then another few weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So my session with her wasn't until 2 weeks before I got certified. And
wow.
Yeah, so that was the first one, and and I'm thinking, because I'm doing everything. I'm doing all my shielding. I'm doing all of the classes, and I'm everything. I'm just all the way in. I read the book. I read it 3 times now. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
going into I had it finished, read it 2 times by the time I got certified. So I've done all of this, and I go into my first session with Aurora, and I'm blocked. There is nothing. I mean, it's a sad hypnosis session.
Oh.
And so I'm thinking, how is this possible? What's going on? And I'm doing everything. So that's an interesting question, because it took a lot of I have a lot of layers on this onion to be peeled. A lot of layers.
Mm-hmm.
66 years old, I had more layers. I had a lot of layers. And I get into that a lot of these sessions, peels back another layer, peels back another layer, and another layer. And it's not that that everybody needs all these sessions, but my higher self was being very gentle with me, because I was at a fragile time when I went into this personally. It was, I was given what I could handle. And that's exactly how it works. You're never given anything you can't handle. And you
Absolutely
get what information, and then you see how it resonates, and you process it. You process what you're given. So I'm still figuring things out. My last session, or one session, I was a crystal. I'm so excited. I think that one can easily be a children's book, because it was a cool session.
That would be a beautiful children's book.
Would that be fun?
I love listening to all of the sessions, because, I mean, in what Dolores Cannon says is that you have to be each and every thing before you become a human. I mean, you have to be a rock, you have to be a drop of water, you have to be, and so I can see being a crystal. Okay, so tell me what that was like.
Well, I had my another session. I was a rock, but it was a rock in the galactics way before this Earth was created. But the crystal one, dare I share with that one? But it was hard to get to. Like I tell you, some of my sessions, it's so hard to get an answer from me, because I'm just it's all dark. I don't have any senses. I don't know anything. And you happen to be this detective. Figure out what's filling, what are in these sessions, the practitioners helping you, assisting you, figure out, asking you questions, and what resonates, what doesn't. And finally, we figured out, she took me back before this darkness happened. And I was back in this magical kingdom. I mean, there was dragons and unicorns and fairies and all sorts of it was just magical, and waterfalls and flowers and this beautiful, beautiful paradise. And then our paradise got hit with these lasers, and it was all dark. So we had become, but I was this, so how it came out is we were all petrified.
Mm-hmm.
But I was, because I was the large crystal in the middle of this paradise, this huge crystal that everybody's sending their memories to the crystal, everybody's sending their love every day for, hundreds of years, hundreds and hundreds of years. They're all sending their memories, their lessons, their joy, their history. I was the receiver of all of that.
Oh, wow.
It was, and so I was that receiver. And then I'm starting in this, we're all been petrified, black, and we're like shocked. How did this happen? What happened? And then as I'm feeling all their love and their histories and all that, there's starting to be a little crack in the black, crack. We didn't know we were petrified yet. All I know is black. There was that, and now we're going back to the black. And then I'm feeling this, and I didn't know I was a crystal yet either. I'm just sitting, and then I'm starting to feel all of the history and all the love and all the beauty that we had is gone. What happened? And I'm starting to use all that love and all that experience and all of those hundreds and hundreds of years of this forming and history, just everything. And this crack burst open. So we broke out of that petrification because of the health of the crystal that held that there, and that released the petrification of that realm that we were in. So
wow!
Oh, that is so cool.
I can imagine taking in all of the history and all those stories and feeling all of that. It had to be so special.
It is incredible.
And just being so large, it was just a humongous crystal, one of the really huge crystals. And it was a blue crystal. Like, so anyways, that was a pretty cool, because it started out dark. Okay, here I am going back to square one where I'm blocked or something. Mm-hmm. But then you get all the pieces together doing your detective work, and it turns out, wow, this happened. This was a life. Mm-hmm. This was a whole realm of magic, right?
Yeah. And that is still very much a part of you. It's not something that was you can't just say a crystal in the past. That was very much you. And
it's an essence of who I am.
Yeah. And everything like that when you get hyper driven into any sort of subject, especially when it comes to spirituality, that is your higher self saying, hey, we know this, we need to get you to know it. And now. And I love that, because a lot of people are like, oh, that's a hyperfixation ADHD. No, it is your higher self telling you that you either know something or you need to know it because something's coming up that you're going to use it.
Absolutely.
It's part of us getting away from judgment too. So we're not judging them for where they're at.
Yep.
And we're not, allow them that and just be. We're just being and enjoying it and loving it and thanking them for their perspective. That's all.
Well, I heard a poem today or something like that. There's a tattoo that everybody has, and it's let them be if they want to be. I shared it on my Facebook. If they want to be, into themselves, let them be. Yeah. Let them be whatever it is that they're going to be. Let them be, because we can't judge other people.
Right. No.
And
get past
I want to go to one of Aurora's retreats. And I know I will. And I'm going to bring my book with me so that you can sign it. But I have heard so much about her retreats on how you level up so much.
Yeah.
And she's magical.
Yes, she is.
Magical. And Zen, her husband, is magical.
Oh, isn't he? Yeah.
And he's so knowledgeable. He comes in and he's so shy about it, but he's so knowledgeable. And I love Aurora too. I mean, you can't help but love her. She emits love. And so anybody who is looking to maybe learn a little bit more about how to break out of that shell and go within and do some shadow work and excuse me, and do some aura sessions. Absolutely, I would take some classes with Aurora. But we do have plenty of aura practitioners. Like you could get a session with Deb, and you could get a session with me. And you could probably get a session with a couple of people that are on here now tonight too.
Probably. I'll be joining the ranks eventually. I just had to get some stuff around, but the more you talk about it, Raven, I tell you, like I am so like geared up for it, and I can hear my own. Yeah, I can hear my higher self at me like, you should have been doing this 6 months ago, but you know.
Just like my higher self is telling me I'm going to go to a retreat.
Right.
So I'm going to go to one. I'm not sure which one, but I'm going to be there.
Oh, for sure.
Don't beat yourself up. You'll know when it's time, and you just when it's time to jump, you're going to jump.
Yep.
So don't beat yourself up. It's all
almost like when it's that impulse buy a ticket. It's like I have to buy it. I have to buy it now.
Yes.
That's when you have to do it.
Or when you pass a crystal.
Also, in your book, you talk a little bit about. Well, I say some of the key words are black magic and white magic. Can you kind of explain how you come across those terms, maybe?
So, I've been married twice. Both marriages were pretty rocky.
You reckon?
My marriage with my kid's father was for 20 years, and that's 20 years with, and he was from a different culture, and that raised some. Ruffled some feathers, but not too bad. It was actually pretty beautiful. So it turned out. So after 20 years, I discovered that he was cheating on me. Not only did he cheat on me, he molested one of our daughters.
Aww.
So marriage over, right?
Right.
Done deal. It wasn't until several months after getting certified, I'm in this session, I learned that one of his affairs went on for 9 years. And I'm like, what the freak? How can that be? And so I think that was in the chapter called Priestess of Hathor. And no, maybe that wasn't that one. Because that one was, I was approached by Ted Bundy back in the day. And that was in that chapter. So,
wow.
And you survived. Oh my goodness.
But the thing the Ted Bundy wasn't as hard to learn as the 9 years that my husband had been with this one woman. He'd been with several. And what the damage he did. So those things took me a while to process. So it's, I think I got off track. Well, anyways, it turned out that his mistress was cursing me day and night because I'm having all these babies. And she's cursing me, and every pregnancy got more and more difficult. I had a severe heart problem. I had to have a hysterectomy by the end of it, right? At the end of my having 6 kids, I was going through the valley of death pregnancy 5 and pregnancy. I had 3 miscarriages.
Mhm.
Oh, wow.
So, and it wasn't, and I'm thinking this is a normal life, everybody has these problems with their pregnancies and da 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 da, and I'm just having a rough pregnancy. But it
Mhm.
wasn't until into these sessions that I learned that's what this woman was doing for those 9 years. She was every day, she's sending all this black magic on me and on my womb and all those things that I was going through.
Mhm.
So that's how, and then
That's really real. A lot of people don't think that
Oh, yeah.
that's real, but that's
Very real.
definitely a real thing.
And
100%.
that's just thinking you're a normal person going through hard pregnancies, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I hear from other people who aren't part of this modality that happens a lot. That happens a lot where another spiritual worker is saying, yeah, they've thrown black magic on all of these women and things from out of jealousy, out of rage, or whatever. And it was all unbeknown to me. So that's a huge part of my shields every morning, every night, is I do not consent to any of that black magic. And then I also was able to go into other past lives where there's a lot of black magic still on me from past lives. So that black magic from past lives, every life makes you denser and denser and denser. So it adds up and it attaches deeper and deeper, and it has more lasting effects the more it's been placed on you and sent to you.
Right.
So I'm assuming that you are able to break that and you were able to get that out of your energy fields.
Yes, yes.
Awesome. And was that through an aura session or maybe a raw Reiki or both?
All of the above, because it took more than one session, more than one light delayering of that one. And it took, I was in the middle of writing my book when I discovered all of that. And so I was able to share that in the book as I'm going through the feelings. I'm taking my readers right with me because I'm healing with the reader here. So that was kind of fun. But so getting back to why I wrote the book is I transcribed all my sessions, and then I'm transcribing the session on, I don't know if it was, I think it was on the UFO abductions and stuff. I'm transcribing this, and my higher self says, other people need to hear this. Other people need to hear that what's happening in the hospital isn't all what you think, right? It's not. Right. And what's happening here and there, and they can abduct you and put you back. And so there's all this that I'm learning in my sessions. And so it's that I'm in a retreat. We was at the Mount Shasta retreat, and I shared it with the group. My higher self just told me I have to write a book. And Aurora and everybody says, yes, you do. And I'm supposed to read it, So you got to read this. And then, so I'm writing this book. And then I'm saying, I don't think I should publish this book, And at the next retreat in Eureka Springs, it says, yes, you've got to publish this book. So that's how that came to be. So I was real hesitant about putting all this out there to everybody, but
it takes a lot of courage. It does.
It does.
And you're amazing.
I'm just normal, right? Just a normal person.
Yeah, you're amazing. And I know, especially to talk about something like a UFO abduction or or abductions, because it's not necessarily alien or UFO or anything like that. Right. It could be other things as well, but to be able to be outspoken about that where other people would not be so outspoken, and I commend you for your courage, because it's your courage and all of the things that are in your book that are going to help somebody else heal, because somebody needs to hear this.
That's my hope. Yeah. That's my intent. That's my intent.
So the abductions, were they like when you were younger? I worked with somebody and she was abducted when she was younger, because we were talking about it at work, my 3D job the other day. And there are a lot more people that have been abducted that, you know.
So from what I've learned is it started at the embryo stage, and it lasted until 2007. It was in 2007 that I said, "To hell with it all," you know. I don't consent to any more of this. I'm through with this game. I don't believe in God anymore. I don't believe in any of this. I'm done with this whole game, this whole mess. And it took that, and that's when every one of us needs to get to that stage where we are our own sovereign being. And whatever anybody else says, what everybody else wants, no, I'm done. This is about me and my life and my choice. And so that was, after you do that, they can't get to you anymore. After you wake up.
I know I walked off of my path after my son died, and I actually probably just took a different turn, but I did. I walked away from spirit, and I just walked right away from my path. And I know exactly what you're saying. You have to come back to yourself, because what we had been programmed that spirit, source, everything, again, we're supposed to worship, and it's outside of us, and that's just not true.
Right. Those words those 4 little words that you said just a little bit ago, I do not consent, are so powerful when it comes to any sort of entity outside of you, any doubts and negativity inside of you, any entity inside of you. Those words are so incredibly powerful, and I think people need to really hear that too, because a lot of times they get stuck in this cycle of, what can I do about it? Tell it you don't consent. Tell the situation, that yourself, anything, that really does turn everything around, because the universe listens, source listens. So, if it's feeding you, if it's testing you to see what you will do, and you say, I don't consent, then it sends it back. Raven and I, the past couple days, I think Tuesday was kind of a down day for everybody around here. I don't know whether it was the weather or not, but you were having trouble, and then I started having trouble, and I had to remind Raven, tell it you don't consent. And then a couple hours later, I had to sit there and be like, I don't consent to this. We've got to do this. And then the next day, I think everybody ended up going to bed a little bit early that night that I knew of. And then the next day, everything was better. But everybody kind of had to do a round robin of, we don't consent to these feelings. We don't consent to this energy. So for you to put that out there, I find that, really, really awesome.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I'm still going over how courageous you are, because it's not just a book, telling people about it. It's your healing journey. You are, showing full, beautiful vulnerability in that. And I think that is something that is just phenomenal, especially this day and age when a lot of people are not exactly careful with what they say. And I love the fact that you decided to listen to your higher self, and you wrote this, you put it out there, and then now it's something gorgeous. And I can't wait to get my hands on a copy. I'm so excited.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I love it. I love it.
It's been an honor.
So I was going to say, what would be the thing that you would, or the message that you would like to leave our viewers with this evening, other than read the book?
Right. I don't know. I'm going to have to put that, make it a part of like my education curriculum with the raw Reiki, and then your book. Perfectly Imperfect.
So I have to apologize because I'm a very emotional person too.
No, you're okay. You're okay.
So in one of my sessions, my client was under, and Divine Mother was coming through. And she goes, "Oh, I think you two need to experience Source." And I'm like, I'm freaked out a little bit because Source is coming in and I don't have any questions prepared for Source. It should be an important question. I'm going to talk to Source. And
Being
I'm like,
literally starstruck.
yeah, I'm like, because it's happened before. And I had a silly question and stuff, but I don't know. I don't remember how it happened before, but this time I was just really, what do I say? What do I say? You know, as this is Source comes in, you know, and we had this magical 20 minutes with Source. It was so perfect. I mean, it was, anyways, that's a chapter in this book, A Conversation with Source. And I would like to read a little bit of what Source said in that chapter. I think
yes, please do.
Actually, I was reading, this one's from Archangel Haniel, which is awesome too.
There's so much in this book. You guys got to get this book.
But after I shared some of my chapters with a book club to go through and get their feedback before I published. Mm-hmm. And one of the people in the book club read the chapter, Conversation with Source. And he asked, "Oh, I wish I could have a conversation with Source." You know?
Yeah.
And then I'm reading this, I'm editing the book, trying to find my typos, etc. And I get this message from Source, visits me again. So, and I'll just read I guess this isn't my thing from Source, but it is. There's so much in here from Source. Oh, there's so much from Archangel Haniel. And I just love the messages. But here's how I end this chapter on my conversation with Source. During this morning's meditation, I was reminded of a conversation with a dear friend who graciously read these pages, providing feedback prior to publication. He was questioning what it would take for him to have a similar visit with Source. Having recalled his question, the message I received this morning from Source is intended directly to you, the reader of these pages. This is from Source. See, now I'm going to cry. Beloved one, you, the reader of these pages, the feeling you felt in your heart while reading this channeled conversation is indeed me speaking directly to you. I encourage you to go now back to and reread my words with that knowing as you feel the love within your heart grow, flow with it, and just like that, you'll be speaking directly to me. I also received the message that it wasn't about the question. It was about the conversation. It wasn't about the question. Mm-hmm. It's about the being. And he said, she, Source says, so had different questions. I asked of you, and that what you are doing is magnificent. Do you feel that power? I'm just bawling through this conversation. It's magnificent. Do you feel that power roaming through you now? And I'm like, yes. And do not doubt it. This is your catalyzation. This is your rebirth into a larger you. I'm here with you. I will never leave you. It's only mind programming, mind control, low vibrational energies, and low vibrational food that keeps you down. I will always guide you sure and straight, and as will your higher selves. Understand that I am is aligned and a light to serve you now, here and now. Really, really loud and capitalized here. You cannot be overcome by the dark. There is too much light. Your shields are so strong. If you could but see them, you would fall to the ground in amazement. You must begin to hold the concept of this and let it radiate forth from you. This is all that I ask of you, is to let me work through you. It goes on, but I love this.
It's beautiful.
That's beautiful. I got teary-eyed.
Yes. Oh, that's so beautiful.
That's lovely.
Thank you for listening.
I hope everybody goes out and gets the book. Now I really want to start reading more. I'm like in the first chapter, and I'm actually finding out about your religious history and all of that. So I'm really looking forward to it. And everybody else, you need to go get this book. It's really good.
Yeah, I'm going to get my copy too. I'm excited.
And Miss Deborah, I hope this isn't the only time that you come on our show. We hope to have you on many more times. And
thank you. And I look forward to see you at the reunions at the Aura Practitioners reunions.
Yep, I'm going to one of them. I know it. And then I'll be hooked like everybody else.
The next one will be at the Grand Canyon at Sedona.
Yeah, I need to go to Sedona, but this one's a little bit too soon for me. So after the fire and all this stuff that's gone on, as you can see, I still have boxes, and my whole house is, I have in the rooms to the ceiling is boxes to unpack, and
it's huge.
It is. Yeah. It's almost overwhelming. Mm-hmm. So, but I will be going to a retreat, just not this one.
Beautiful.
Although I love Sedona, I've always wanted Sedona. So,
yeah, well, I'll have to catch up with you ladies with all the classes and everything, and we can all go together, and that would be fun.
That would be nice.
Yeah, it would
just
be really
you and I could drive together, and I have a new vehicle, so we'd make it there and back.
There we go. Absolutely.
Well, all right, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We honestly love our audience. Thank you so very much for joining us. And Deborah, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a wonderful evening, and we look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks. We've got some surprises. Well, okay, so I'll divulge a few. It's going to be Mama D and Gina B, Raven and Jessamy.
Yay.
That would be interesting. The ladies of the Fox Den.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, good evening, everyone. It was so good to see you.